it would have been a little weird if I went ahead and said, okay, I'm debuting as a filmmaker with a three-part film and all. People would have gone, huh? And we knew that the part two is not even up for contention if the part one did not work.
Correct. Yeah.
So we never mentioned part two till the success celebration party of part one.
There was always a plan that this will be a franchise, there'll be a sequel.
It was always designed as a three-film franchise. In fact, when we first discussed the entire story arc, we realized it was so long that for a brief while we thought maybe it's best told as a 12-episode web series.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would have,
Yeah, that would have taken a completely different flavor,
Right,
not this
right.
feature film, mainstream
Sure.
cinema flavor. But when we decided we are going to do it as a feature film, we always knew that it will be a three-film franchise. But back in 2016-17, this part one, part two business was not so popular.
Right.
So it would have been a little weird if I went ahead and said, okay, I'm debuting as a filmmaker with a three-part film and all. People would have gone, huh? And we knew that the part two is not even up for contention if the part one did not work.
Correct. Yeah.
So we never mentioned part two till the success celebration party of part one. So it was on that evening that we finally said that there'll be a part two and a part three.
Right.
This is a part two that was conceived back then. But obviously, as time goes between 2019 and 2025, a lot has changed around us.
Correct,
The
yeah.
socio-political, economic circumstances have changed around us. So you'll have to keep reviewing your narrative. You'll have to keep reviewing your plot devices. But this is very much, as much as it is a progression of the plot from part one, I think the good thing about part two is that it is very much a standalone film as well.
Okay.
So for somebody who's not seen part one, I think this film will still make sense as a standalone film.
Wow. Yeah.
And part one was very much rooted in Kerala politics, and it was it's a story that's in and within Kerala.
Yeah.
Part two is not that way. Part two has got a very national scape
Okay.
for its plot. It's even got an international plot line running.
Oh, yeah.
And
I can see that,
an interesting thing is I think about 30 to 35% of the film is in Hindi.
Okay.
Because the story happens in a terrain like that.
Okay.
And I'm very particular that all 5 versions of the film, Malayalam, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada and Hindi, Hindi to of course, but all the other 4 versions of the film will retain the Hindi portions as Hindi.
Okay.
So because of that, from the very beginning, we were very keen to have a proper wide Hindi release for this part of the franchise.
Right.
I have to tell you, when you walk into the theater, maybe for the first 20-25 minutes, you'll feel like you're watching a Hindi film.
Yeah.
But it will get there. Okay.
Right, it will get there. Right.
But there is a sizable amount of Hindi in the film. Yeah.
Wow.